I am not drunk. I promise you.
Okay.
I've had some drinks,
Uh-huh.
but he can't have this right now.
New footage of Patrick Mahomes Sr. behind bars has just gone viral, showing a tense moment that's only adding to the drama. Mahomes was caught violating his probation after his ankle monitor detected alcohol on New Year's Day, 2026. Now, he's facing up to 10 years in Texas State Prison. But what exactly went down this time? Let's break it down. The arrest that started it all. On February 3, 2024, a Tyler Police Department officer was driving down Gentry Parkway in Tyler, Texas. The officer was running license plates, something he does all day, every day, as part of his job. One plate came back with an expired registration sticker from September 2022. The vehicle was also moving at a noticeably slow speed. The officer pulled it over. The driver was Patrick Mahomes Sr. He was 53 years old. He told the officer he had consumed a couple beers while watching a game at a local bar called The Exchange. The officer smelled alcohol on his breath. His eyes were bloodshot. His speech was slurred. Field sobriety tests came next. On the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, Mahomes Sr. showed involuntary eye jerking consistent with alcohol influence. On the walk and turn test, he missed heel-to-toe steps and stepped off the line. On the one-leg stand, he swayed and put his foot down multiple times before 30 seconds. Then the officer found an open 16-ounce Coors Light beer can in the center console. It was still cold to the touch. It was about 3/4 full. That's a direct violation of Texas's open container law. Mahomes Sr. was also driving without a valid license. It had been suspended from previous offenses. He was placed under arrest. But what happened next, in the body cam footage, is what made this go viral the first time around.
Mr. Mooney,
Yes, sir.
can I say one thing?
You may.
He had something he needed to say.
My son is getting ready to play in the Super Bowl, okay?
Yes,
No, just listen to me.
Uh-huh.
This was February 3rd, 2024. Super Bowl LV was 8 days away. His son, Patrick Mahomes II, was the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, preparing to face the San Francisco 49ers.
I am not drunk. I promise you.
Okay.
I've had some drinks,
Uh-huh.
but he can't have this right now.
And he kept going.
Okay, sir.
This can't happen.
Who's your son?
Patrick Mahomes.
The officer asked who his son was. Mahomes Sr. answered. Then he tried to make his case for why this traffic stop should end differently.
Somebody come get me and take me home.
Uh-huh.
But this right now is not the right time for that.
He asked for someone to come pick him up. He said the timing was wrong, but the officer stepped away, came back, and delivered the news.
So here's the deal. I did contact my supervisor. I let
Yeah.
her know the situation.
The supervisor had been contacted. Nothing could be done.
Unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do about that, okay?
This is the worst thing that can happen.
And I hear
right
you.
now.
Look, here's my thing.
The officer was direct. He couldn't change the process based on who Mahomes Sr. was,
I'm not looking to blow this into an any bigger deal than it is.
and he made that clear.
I know
But
that.
unfortunately, like you said, I have a job I have to do.
Yes.
And I can't change that just based off of who you are.
While being processed, Mahomes Sr. refused a breathalyzer at the scene. A search warrant was obtained for a blood draw at a local hospital. The results came back at a blood alcohol content of 0.23 promile, nearly 3 times the legal limit of 0.08 promile in Texas. For a man around 200 pounds, that level is consistent with roughly 10 to 12 standard drinks. This was not his first DWI, and that fact changed everything about how the law would treat him. A pattern, from misdemeanor to felony. To understand why Patrick Mahomes Sr. now faces up to 10 years in prison, you have to go back to where this pattern began. Because this didn't start in 2024, it started in 2008. On September 12, 2008, Mahomes Sr. was arrested for DWI in South Dakota. At the time, he was a retired MLB pitcher living in Tyler, Texas. His son, Patrick Jr., was 12 years old and still years away from throwing a single pass in the NFL. There was no media frenzy. There were no viral clips. It was a standard first offense DWI, classified as a Class 1 misdemeanor under South Dakota law. The maximum penalty was up to 1 year in jail, a $2,000 fine, and a 1-year license revocation. Public records confirmed the conviction, but the specific details, blood alcohol content, the circumstances of the stop, any field sobriety test results are not publicly available due to the age and low profile of the case. Mahomes Sr. likely received standard penalties, possibly probation or an alcohol education program. No reports indicate extended jail time. Life went on. But that conviction went on his record, and under repeat offender statutes across multiple states, it would not disappear. It would wait. The wait ended roughly a decade later. In Smith County, Texas, Mahomes Sr. was arrested arrested again around February 2019 for what was classified as DWI second or more. Under Texas law, that's a Class A misdemeanor, a meaningful step up from the first offense. The penalties include up to 1 year in jail, fines up to $4,000, and a license suspension of up to 2 years. He pleaded guilty. His sentence was 40 days of jail time, served intermittently on weekends across 2019 and 2020 to accommodate his schedule. That's a common arrangement for non-violent offenders with family obligations. He could serve his sentence in chunks rather than all at once. Again, the specific arrest details, what led to the stop, what his BAC was, are not publicly detailed. But the enhancement from his 2008 prior tells the story on its own. This was a man who had been caught driving drunk before, had faced consequences, and had done it again. Now here's where Texas law tightens the screws dramatically. Under Texas Penal Code, Section 4909, a third DWI offense is automatically elevated to a third-degree felony. It does not matter how long ago the prior offenses occurred. Texas has no look-back period for DWI enhancements, meaning a conviction from 2008 counts just the same as one from last year. The punishment range for a third-degree felony is 2 to 10 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice prison system, plus fines up to $10,000. That is what Mahomes Sr. was facing after the February 2024 arrest, the one captured on body cam footage, the one with the 0.23% BAC, and the cold Coors Light in the console. He was indicted on the felony charge in April 2024. The trial was delayed to August, and in August 2024, he pleaded guilty. The plea deal avoided a jury trial. In September 2024, a judge sentenced him to 5 years of community supervision, probation, instead of immediate incarceration. But this was not a slap on the wrist. The first year was designated as intense supervision. He was required to wear a scram ankle monitor at all times. He was required to abstain from all alcohol. He had regular check-ins with a probation officer. He was required to complete alcohol education. An ignition interlock device had to be installed in any vehicle he drove. His driver's license was suspended for a year. Any violation of any of these conditions could trigger a motion to revoke probation and send him to prison for the full range of the original felony sentence. After his sentencing, Mahomes Sr. spoke to reporters outside the courthouse.
So today we went through your sentencing. Tell me how you feel about the outcome.
Well, I think it was appropriate.
He said the sentence was appropriate.
That's what we agreed to. Glad that the judge allowed it to happen and give me a chance to write some things.
Then he was asked how the case reflected on his family, one of the most well-known families in the country.
Obviously, your family is one of the most well-known in the country, the Mahomes name. How do you feel this case reflects on them?
Well, it's bad. I mean, that was kind of an eye-opener, once this happened. Since then, everything is... I haven't had a drink since.
He said he hadn't had a drink since the arrest, and he said he was trying to use his situation to help others.
What are the next steps for you, sir?
Well, got to follow the rules of the probation. I've already been to treatment. Now it's just, like I say, going one day at a time, and so far it's been good.
He had been to treatment. He said he was taking it one day at a time.
I got a little bit over 7 months, almost 8 months now, sober.
Almost 8 months sober, and he wanted to speak publicly about his issues with alcohol.
No, this is a good thing. I mean, now I get a chance to, go out and speak and do some public speaking and kind of tell people about some of the issues and troubles I've had with alcohol.
He called it a good thing. He said he hoped his story would enlighten someone else. For 16 months after that sentencing, Mahomes Sr. had no reported violations. He appeared to be following the rules. Then, New Year's Day came. The violation that brought him back to jail. The scram ankle. Monitor that Patrick Mahomes Sr. was required to wear as part of his probation is a device that samples the wearer's perspiration every 30 minutes. It measures transdermal alcohol content, alcohol that passes through the skin as sweat, using a fuel cell sensor. The data is transmitted wirelessly to a monitoring service. Readings above a threshold of approximately 0.02% TAC are flagged as positive. The system is designed to detect tampering, and it provides a continuous, court-admissible record of whether someone has been drinking. On January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day, the monitor detected a high alcohol reading from Mahomes Sr. The transdermal alcohol concentration was recorded at 0.0045%, well above the detection threshold and consistent with what court documents describe as a high reading. His probation terms explicitly prohibited any alcohol intake. This was a direct breach. The monitoring service reviewed and confirmed the data. On January 5, 2026, Mahomes Sr.'s probation officer was notified. That same day, a urine test was administered. It came back negative for alcohol. A second urine test on January 9th also came back negative. Urine tests detect ethyl glucuronide and ethyl sulfate, metabolites of alcohol that can remain traceable for up to 80 hours after heavy drinking, but lighter consumption can clear faster. The 4-day gap between the scram detection and the first urine test likely explains the discrepancy. But the discrepancy didn't matter. The ankle monitor's real-time continuous data is typically prioritized in probation violation proceedings precisely because it captures the moment of consumption, not days afterward. On January 13, 2026, prosecutors from the Smith County District Attorney's Office, led by Jacob Putman, filed a motion to revoke Mahomes Sr.'s probation. An arrest warrant was issued. For 3 weeks, that warrant sat active. Then, on February 3, 2026, Mahomes Sr. arrived for what appeared to be a routine meeting with his probation officer at the Smith County Courthouse in Tyler, Texas. He was taken into custody. He was booked into Smith County Jail at 8:53 a.m. without incident. His mugshot was released publicly. Standard orange inmate attire. He has remained in jail without bond. A judge determined he posed a risk of further violations if released. A revocation hearing has been scheduled for March 9, 2026, in the 7th District Court before Judge Kerry Russell, the same judge who presided over the original 2024 case. The process at that hearing will be different from a criminal trial. The standard of proof is lower. It's by a preponderance of the evidence, meaning the judge only needs to find it more likely than not that a violation occurred. The prosecution will present the scram data and supporting documentation. Mahomes Sr.'s attorney, who has not publicly commented, can contest the allegations, challenge the scram reading's accuracy, argue a false positive from environmental factors or device malfunction, or present mitigating evidence like character witnesses or proof of overall compliance during the 16 months prior. If the judge rules against revocation, probation could continue with modified terms, extended monitoring, additional counseling, or house arrest. But if probation is revoked, the court can impose any sentence within the original felony range. And prosecutors are not asking for leniency. They are pushing for the maximum 10 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice prison system. Their argument centers on the repeated nature of his offenses and the risk to public safety. Even if probation isn't fully revoked, the judge could order intermediate sanctions, up to 180 days of additional jail time, or mandatory inpatient alcohol treatment. Factors that could influence the outcome include Mahomes Sr.'s compliance history for the first 16 months of his probation, his age, 55, and his family ties. But one thing working against him, under Texas law, time already served on probation does not count as credit toward a prison sentence if probation is revoked. If he goes to prison, he starts from zero. He could be eligible for parole after serving a portion of the term, potentially as little as 6 months for a non-violent offense, but that would require good behavior and program participation. As of February 17, 2026, no additional charges have been filed. He has not entered a plea regarding the violation. The March 9 hearing will determine whether he walks out with modified probation or begins a prison sentence that could last a decade. The impact on Patrick Mahomes Jr. The timing of Patrick Mahomes Sr.'s legal troubles has collided with his son's career at nearly every major turning point, and every time, the question has been the same. How does this affect the quarterback? The 2024 arrest happened 8 days before Super Bowl LV. During the body cam footage, Mahomes Sr. didn't just plead his case to the officer, he predicted what would happen to his son's game.
My son's getting ready to play in the fucking Super Bowl, and I'm doing interviews 5 or 6 a day.
He said he'd been doing 5 or 6 interviews a day leading up to the game.
And then now this shit's gonna be on the news, which is gonna fuck with him.
He said the news would mess with his son, and then he went further.
I mean, it's probably fuck him up. He probably won't win the Super Bowl, but that's fine.
He predicted the Chiefs would lose the Super Bowl because of this. That prediction was wrong. Patrick Mahomes Jr. led Kansas City to a 25-22 overtime victory over the San Francisco 49ers, earning his 3rd ring and another Super Bowl MVP. During the entire lead up to the game, Mahomes Jr. said nothing publicly about his father's arrest. He avoided questions about it in media availabilities. Teammates and coaches reported no visible change in his preparation or leadership. It wasn't until over a year later, in August 2025, that Mahomes Jr. finally addressed it. He spoke about it in a Chiefs documentary series called The Kingdom on ESPN and on the Pivot podcast.
The Kingdom on ESPN is fascinating, right? They're following 2024 season of the Kansas City Chiefs.
The episode focused on the dynamic between father and son during that week before the Super Bowl.
And the episode with Patrick Mahomes' father getting arrested just aired.
It covered the arrest and the fallout.
And it just kind of talked about the dynamic of his father being sorry because he took the spotlight off of Patrick Mahomes in like the biggest moment.
Mahomes Sr. was sorry. He knew he had taken the spotlight off his son at the worst possible time. The conversation on the podcast turned to how family issues ripple outward when you're a public figure.
I think it said a lot about how family is connected, and one issue for one person kind of leaks into everybody else's life.
One person's issue leaks into everybody else's life. That's the reality of fame at this level.
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes Sr. understood the gravity of his mistake post-mistake.
The panel noted that Mahomes Sr. understood what he'd done after the fact.
And the thing that has to click into the minds of the family of these highly successful individuals is that whatever I do shines a light on them.
Whatever a family member does shines a light on the athlete, whether that light is positive or negative.
It also highlights the human factor of players. We pay attention to Patrick Mahomes, his feats, his accolades as a player, but he's a human.
He's a human. And during that week, he was a human dealing with a family crisis while preparing for the biggest game of the year.
He's a human who, during that time, had to deal with this incident that his father was involved with while preparing to play this game.
He had to compartmentalize. He had to lead the team. He had to ignore the headlines. In a separate interview, when asked directly about his father's situation, Mahomes Jr. kept it short.
Yeah, he's doing good. Don't really want to get into it too much, but he's doing good for whatever the situation is.
He said his father was doing good. He didn't want to get into it.
It's a family matter, so I'll just keep it to the family, and that's all I really have to say at this point.
It was a family matter. That was all he had to say. And that approach, silence, privacy, compartmentalization, has been consistent across all three of his father's arrests. Now for the 2026 violation. This time, the context is different. Mahomes Jr. suffered a season-ending ACL tear in Week 15, marking the first time in his career he missed the postseason. The Chiefs were eliminated from playoff contention. Super Bowl LX is between the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. Kansas City isn't involved, so there's no direct Super Bowl performance correlation this time. But social media has noticed the pattern. Users have pointed out that Mahomes Sr.'s arrests and Super Bowl season seem to line up with eerie consistency, and clickbait headlines suggesting Mahomes Jr. refused to bail out his father have circulated on Facebook, but those claims have been debunked as unfounded. As of February 17, 2026, Mahomes Jr. has not made any public statement about this latest incident. Reports indicate he is focused on rehabilitation from his knee injury with an eye toward training camp. The family, the career, and what comes next. Patrick Mahomes Sr. was born on August 9, 1970, in Bryan, Texas. Before the mugshots and the courtrooms, he was a professional baseball player. He was drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 6th round of the 1988 MLB draft out of Lindale High School. He debuted in the majors on April 12, 1992, at age 21. Over an 11-year MLB career, he pitched for 6 teams: the Twins, Red Sox, Mets, Rangers, Cubs, and Pirates, plus the Yokohama Bay Stars in Japan. He appeared in 308 regular season games, compiled a 42-39 record with a 5.47 ERA, and struck out 452 batters. His best stretch came with the 1999 New York Mets, where he went 8-0 with a 3.68 ERA in relief, contributing to the team's wild-card berth and pitching in the postseason with a 2.25 ERA across 4 playoff appearances. He was part of the 2000 Mets team that reached the World Series, losing to the Yankees in the Subway Series. After his playing career ended following the 2003 season, with minor league attempts stretching into 2009, Mahomes Sr. settled into a quieter life in Tyler, Texas. He didn't pursue broadcasting, front office roles, or high-profile coaching positions. His post-retirement focus was family. He coached youth baseball and participated in MLB diversity initiatives like the Hank Aaron Invitational Camp in Vero Beach, Florida, working with young players of color from underserved areas. His son has spoken about what he learned watching his father's career.
Your pops played Major League Baseball, and you were around the game at a very young age. What did you learn watching him kind of navigate through his professional career, and then him being a retired athlete?
The question was about what Mahomes Jr. took from watching his father, both as a player and as a man after the game.
What did you learn watching him in his second chapter after that?
I think what I learned was the dedication and work ethic it took to be in the pros. I mean, my dad was in the pros at a very young age.
Dedication and work ethic, that's what stuck.
And had that love for the game, and he played for 20 years of professional baseball, all the way from the major leagues, all the way to Japan, and then all the way in independent baseball, and so he just loved the game.
20 years of professional baseball, from the majors to Japan to independent ball. Mahomes Sr. played because he loved it.
And then in his second career, I think it's about finding that passion that you love, and he coaches baseball now, and he just wants to be around the game, and he coaches the young kids now that he used to kind of help coach me.
He found his way back to the game through coaching kids. That's the version of Patrick Mahomes Sr. that his son talks about, the mentor, the competitor, the man who couldn't walk away from the diamond. But there's another side of the family picture. Mahomes Sr. was married to Randy Martin in the late 1990s. They had 2 sons together, Patrick Jr., born in 1995, and Jackson, born in 2000. They divorced in 2006 when Patrick Jr. was 11 and Jackson was 6. The split was amicable, and both parents prioritized co-parenting. Randy has spoken publicly about the difficulties of being thrust into the spotlight after her son became one of the most famous athletes in the world. In a 2024 podcast appearance, she described the past 7 years as the hardest of my life, citing invasive media attention and online hate. Jackson Mahomes, their younger son, has built a following as a social media influencer on TikTok and Instagram. He's also faced his own legal trouble, a 2023 arrest for aggravated sexual battery after an incident at a Kansas City restaurant. He pleaded no contest in March 2024 and received 6 months of probation, which has been completed. Randy has defended Jackson publicly, saying in interviews that people absolutely hate him based on misconceptions from viral clips. The broader family includes half-siblings from post-divorce relationships. Randy's daughter, Mia Randall, born in 2011, active in volleyball, and Mahomes Sr.'s daughter, Zoe, born around 2015, along with possibly other children kept private. Blended family gatherings at holidays and games have fostered unity despite the complications. And now, with Mahomes Sr. sitting in Smith County Jail awaiting a March 9 hearing, the family faces this situation again. No statements have come from Randy or Jackson as of February 17, 2026. Patrick Jr. has said nothing publicly. The pattern is familiar: silence, privacy, and letting the legal process play out. Whether that process ends with modified probation or a decade in prison depends on what happens in Judge Kerry Russell's courtroom in 3 weeks. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.